Hello friends and welcome to your virtual art class. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, a nice long weekend, um, and got to spend some time outside. Maybe you had a little bit of snow. I am wearing my snowbank hat. Sometimes it's for clouds, sometimes it's for snow. But anyway, I'm wearing it because today we are going to explore the little tiny things that make up snowbanks and snow people and snowballs. Those things are called snowflakes. So we are going to look at a special kind of symmetry called radial symmetry. We're going to look at cool colors that make us think of winter and ice, and we're going to look at how to use line to create a bunch of different shapes. So let's start off first by saying our class mantra. Here we go. I am an artist. I create with my heart. I create with my head. I create with my hands. I can create anything. All right, here we go. Get your snowbank hat on and let's get started. So what you're going to need is a variety of materials. I have some stronger paper here. I have some Crayola markers. I have some crayons. I have a Sharpie, and I have some round things to trace around. And of course, I have my trusty dusty scissors. So let's have a look-see at a little presentation I made for you that will let you see some of the things that I'm talking about as far as radial symmetry and cool colors and stuff like that. All right, here we go. So here we go, snowflakes. Now, you can break colors down into lots of different categories. Today, we are going to look at warm colors and cold colors. And primarily, we're going to focus on cold colors. Now, if you look at the color wheel here, you see all of our colors lined up in a circle. Everything is coming out of the center point, and we have them divided in half of cold colors and warm colors. Now, you might be looking at this going, there's a little bit of trickiness going on here between red, violet, and yellow, green, and yellow. Well, when you start looking at these two colors, if they're bi-colors like blue and purple and green that are more cold colors, then they're going to appear colder. If you put them next to something like red or orange, then they're going to look a little bit warmer. So it all depends on the colors that you have around one of these colors like yellow or violet to say if it's going to be warm or cold. But anyway, let's just say that warm colors are colors that make you think of things like fire and the sun and summer and being warm. And cold colors make you think of things like ice and snow and winter and maybe a cold rainy day. All right. So that's how we're going to break down colors for today. Warm and cold. And basically, we are focusing just on cold colors or cool colors. So here's a good example. This is a painting done with cool colors. And you can see real small in here. You might be saying, well, hey, there's some red and there's some yellow. But because most of this painting is done with blues and purples and some greens, and because those colors are surrounded by blue and purple and green, those colors appear to be more cool, even though they might be considered a warm color. But doesn't this make you shiver just a little bit? This, friends, is a painting done with warm colors. And once again, you can see in here, we do see some purple and we see some pink and we see some green and we see even a little bit of blue over here too, like in the shadows. But because those colors are surrounded by warm colors or set next to warm colors, we can call them warm colors for the purpose of this painting. Whew, this makes me nice and warm inside. Now, radial symmetry, which is another thing that we're going to be looking at, these are two really great examples of radial symmetry. You can find radial symmetry in nature, like in this flower, and you can find radial symmetry in things that are made by people. So, radial symmetry means when the parts of an object or a picture are regularly arranged and come out from the center point or radiate out from the center point. So we see here, this is the center point of the flower, and we see how all these little things start to radiate or come out from the center. You can really see that in the petals. So what happens on this side is also happening on this side. If you look at this one, it's the same idea. Here's the center point, and you see these lines are radiating out from the center, and you see all these other shapes are also radiating out from the center. What happens on this side, if we look at, let's say, we'll call this a slice of cake here. Whatever happens in this slice of cake, if you look directly on the other side, that's happening on that slice of cake, and that slice of cake, and that slice of cake. So, just an idea to keep in mind that today we are going to focus on creating a design that radiates or comes out from the center point. And we're going to try to use similar shapes and lines and colors when we're creating those designs. Snowflakes are amazing examples of radial symmetry. I mean, just look at these beauties. These have been magnified by thousands and thousands of times. And just look at how detailed these are. These are not drawings or paintings. These are actual snowflakes. And aren't they so beautiful? And you can see how they radiate out from the center. You can see how these different lines in the snowflake help create geometric shapes like triangles. And here is a whole bunch of different snowflakes. They say that there are no two snowflakes that are alike, just like our fingerprints. I believe that. All right, learning targets. So these are the things that kind of focus our learning. The first learning target says I can create an original snowflake using different art materials. So like I said, I have my markers, I've got my crayons. If you have colored pencils, you can get some of those. You can choose to use your markers as watercolors if you want to do that. It's all up to you. The next learning target, I can demonstrate my understanding of radial symmetry by creating a snowflake. So, just like what we just talked about, if you look down here, this snowflake is a great example of radial symmetry, meaning that all the objects are radiating from this center point. All the design elements, shapes, lines, colors, so forth. I can create different shapes. Yep, we're going to use lines and so forth to help us create different shapes, just like what we see here in this snowflake. I mean, look at these on the end. These are so beautiful. And I can use good craftsmanship when creating my artwork. So I really want to focus on the way we are coloring and how we're using the art materials to create an artwork that shows that we've done our very, very best and focused on using good craftsmanship in the way that we color and draw. All right, so here we go. Let's get this party started. So the first thing I did is I took my piece of kind of stronger paper like this, and I have a roll of book tape. And you can either ask your grown-up at home or a friend to hold this for you, or if you feel pretty good about holding it yourself, and just take either a pencil or one of the materials that you want to use and just carefully trace around, your object. Now, friends, if I get a little wiggly on the line, I'm not going to freak out because you know what? I'm going to end up cutting this out. So there's no reason to freak. Like right up here, you see how I have that little kind of hairdo that's coming out of my circle? Well, I'm not going to worry about it because I can cut it. All right, so I've got my object traced. And here it is. So I have a big one and I have a little one. I totally recommend making more than one of these because I think you're going to really enjoy it. Now the next part is that we're going to make our radial lines of symmetry. And one of the easiest ways to do that, to make sure that they're going to be even, is by folding your circle. So I'm going to fold it in half. This is also a great way to learn fractions. So here's 1/2 and 1/2, and that equals a whole circle. I'm going to fold it again. And now I can share my pizza pie with 3 other people. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces now. So 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 and 1/4, that equals 4/4, and that equals a whole circle. So now I'm going to fold it just like that again. And now I am going to fold it one last time. And this one's a little bit tricky, so you might want to ask your grown-up to help you with this. And I'm going to unfold it. And friends, now I have 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now it's divided into 8ths. So 8/8 equal 1 whole circle. All right, now to get those to stand out a little bit more, I can either take a Sharpie marker, or I can take my crayon, or I could take a Crayola marker. Depends on if I'm going to use these as watercolors or not. If I'm going to use them as watercolors, then I probably wouldn't use a Crayola marker. But I can also use a colored pencil if I wanted to. Now, I'm going to use a Sharpie just because I really want this to stand out so you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to draw, draw, draw. There's half. 2 halves equal a whole. All right? And then draw, draw, draw. Now I have 4ths. 4/4 equal a whole. Now I'm drawing and drawing. And now I have 8ths. 8/8 equal a whole. All right? From here, now I'm going to start designing my snowflake. And this is what I'm going to do. Whatever I do here, I have to do on the other side or directly across from it. So you can kind of see on this one. All right? So I'm going to start with my shape in the middle, and I'm going to draw a U. And I'm going to draw a U. I'm just going to show you right on the other side. Whoop, just like that. Now I'm going to draw a U here. Whoop, and then I'm going to go directly across to the other side. Whoop, all right. And I'm going to keep going. Now, I just want you to look at this. You can see how they are the same here on either side. I haven't drawn right here yet, so I'm going to finish it up just by adding, and I can draw this one upside down because I'm pretty good at it. And so there's the center part of my design. Now, I can decide, for example, that I want to have something like this going all the way around. And like I said, because it's radiating from the middle, I'm going to make sure I do it on all the little spines coming out of the center or radiating out of the center of my snowflake. Just like that. And then maybe I'll do something like this to connect those. And I'm going to do that all the way around. What you don't want to do, friends, is just go at it kind of willy-nilly. You want to show that you understand how to create some radial symmetry. You don't have to make a super difficult design, but you can make it more difficult by adding just more elements on top of each other. Like let's say maybe now I decided I'd like to make a circle in the middle. And you see, that just added another idea to my snowflake. All right? So I would do the same thing with this one. I would fold and fold and fold, and I would end up with a larger snowflake that's looking like this. This one, I use my crayons to make the radiating lines coming from the center. So what I can do to color it now is I can just use crayons and color in all the shapes a different color. All right. So if I decide that I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take a little bit of gray. And what I could do is I could do a repeating pattern if I wanted to, going all the way around. But I'm going to leave that kind of up to you. And look here. You see all these colors? These colors are cool colors. Not meaning like, hey man, I wear shades, I'm so cool. No, they're cool colors, meaning that they make us think of cold things. So I'm just going to continue to color this in a way that I like, going all the way around. Oops. So you can see here, I have not only made kind of a colorful design, I've also made a pattern. And we didn't really talk about that, but it just kind of happened, right? So something that repeats over and over and over again. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on. Ooh, this is not an easy crayon to color with. You can see how I just got out of the lines a little, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to show you on this big one now if I decided to use watercolor. Now, one thing I kind of noticed a little bit, we did a wonderful job with our winter kitties and puppies, but if we are going to use marker, so I just want to go back to this one real quick. If we are going to use marker to color, what I want us to really focus on is using the side of our marker in our larger spaces and the point of our marker to get into the tiny spots. And I want us to really try to focus on creating in one, or coloring in one direction, if at all possible. So when we're coloring, I want us to try to stop from going all willy-nilly and kind of going fast, to kind of slowing down and really being mindful about how we're using the material. Just going nice and slow so my elements can really stand out. Because what happens when we start doing kind of all over the place is that we lose all the nice details that we've created in the artwork. So again, just taking my marker and taking my time and thinking about making it snow again and just going around nice and easy, just like that. All right? Okie dokie, artichoke. So let's get to this one where I'm going to use my friend the cotton swab and some water and get this party started with the coloring. And what I'm going to do, you can see I have not colored all the space in. That's because I want to have some light areas and some dark areas. So you can see that that's going to happen because I haven't colored in everything. And if you have a paintbrush, of course, you can always use a paintbrush. And sometimes, friends, you might have to squeeze out your cotton swab a little bit. Now, when I want to go to another color, like the pink up here, I don't want to use this green cotton swab, because what you can imagine is going to happen is that the colors are going to mix. So I'm going to use the other side and do that. And now remember, once again, if you decide, oi, I need to put down more color, let your paper dry and rest, and then you can add more color. So I might need a little more water because I can hear my cotton swab screeching across the paper. All right. So I'm just going to continue with this and continue painting. And I like that I did some wax crayons because that is going to create a resist like what we've done before. Now I can go back to my green section if I want and use my green cotton swab, all right? But I'm just going to kind of keep going around and carefully focusing on our craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is how we create our artwork and or how we actually use the materials to create our artwork. Not to say that we won't scribble and scrabble, but there's different ways of scribbling. And scribbling can also be a way in which we can use good craftsmanship. Now, I don't know if you can really see this here, but I started to scrub a little bit. And you can see that the paper fibers are starting to kind of break down a little bit. So the more water you add, and the more you scrub, you might start tearing your paper. So just be real careful. So if we're using really thin paper, you might not want to watercolor. All right, friends, let's end this party with a little bit of mindfulness. So here we go. When I get cold, I really tense up all my hands and my tummy, and so I want you to make yourself as tight as a snowball. Eyes are closed, your mouth is closed, your teeth are clenched, your hands are clenched, and you're all just tucked in and just hold it, and relax. And let everything get loose, and you can wiggle if you want. And let's do it again. Let's tight. Eyes are clenched. You can't see anything. Your hands and your nostrils and your tummy and everything is just clenched, and release. Do some nice breathing. Let your shoulders drop. One more time. Go! Clench and just tight, and muscles are flexed, and you're strong, and ooh, you're a snowball, and relax. Okay, friends, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoy creating your snowflakes. I think perhaps, just like the other times we've done snow-related projects, in the next few days, it might snow again. So, I wish you a wonderful day. Take care and be happy. Bye.